Welcome to Remainders, where we talk about all the movies that remain. My name is Patrick, and today we will be talking about the spelunking Splatterfest 2005's The Descent. Before we get to that, Darren, how you doing, bud? Good to see you.
Spelunking Splatterfest.
I was thinking cave.
I wish I thought of that. God damn, that's great.
I was thinking cave dwelling classic, but then Splatterfest. I'll take anything where I can weasel and splatter. So
I just want to say to everybody here, like, if you're listening to this, fucking turn it off if you haven't seen this movie and you don't know anything about it. Like right now, because you need to watch this by not. You need to get into it by not knowing anything about it. That's exactly how I watched it, and you'll have a good time, right?
Yeah, I mean, we are going to go heavy on the spoilers for everything, so I implore you to watch it. But yeah, so that's kind of why I was excited to cover this one, because this was your first time seeing it. Is that correct, right?
Yeah, but kind of like, where did this come from? Like, I never heard of it before.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
well,
never.
So I mean, just like I was saying, I was just confirming because I remember you saying you had not seen it, so I suggested it and just kind of put it on the docket for us to watch. And I was hoping that you hadn't seen it, and so yeah, I'm excited to hear your reactions. I mean, this was a modest hit in 2000. I think it came out in the States in 2006. I saw it in the theater. I had the DVD immediately afterwards. So, and it's gained notoriety. So there are definitely fans of it, and hopefully we got one more with you now. So,
well, it said from what I can see online that it said 2004, but maybe it came out, like you said, in the States a little later.
I mean, I think it was one of those, yeah.
I was gonna say it kind of tracks with like the new Dawn of the Dead remake that was around that time, like with Sarah Polley, if you remember. I think that came out in 2004, if I remember correctly, and it kind of has that same like things running fucking fast at you and stuff vibe, you know, kind of the similar style. Got horror movies maybe were doing pretty good in 2004, and I didn't even really realize it, you know.
Oh, well, we'll definitely get to it. Just to discuss 2000s horror, because I think it's underrated as a decade, for sure. There's a lot of ones that I really like, and this one is, I think, pretty easily my number one of that decade. So
Jesus, yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, I would like to talk about The Descent from 2004, 2006. Some movie that was completely off my radar, didn't know anything about it. Pat's like, there's a lot of movies with that name on there, so just, you know, make sure you pick the right one. And that's kind of how I went into it, because I was like, okay, like, did I hit the right one? Is this really the one he wants me to watch? I'm watching the first like few minutes. I'm like, okay, like I get it, badass chicks, you know, like all kind of getting together. And then I was like, oh well, okay, there's this crazy like impalement at the beginning that kind of tracks with Pat. Okay, because I'm trying to think of it in terms of a movie you would like, you know. Well, because I was thinking like, okay, there's something, it's something that's got to happen here, because it's like, why did Pat say to watch this for Remainder? So I'm thinking that the whole time. I'm about 20 minutes in, and then about a half an hour in, and I'm like, fuck him. I'm like, why would he tell me to watch this? I'm claustrophobic as fuck. They're trying to get through like these little like underground tunnels and stuff like that, and they're getting stuck. And then there's on top of it, like she's going through some trauma. And I'm like, he tells me, watch the movie in the dark with the volume completely up. And I'm dude, I'm telling you, it's like 4 a.m. or something when I'm watching. It's really late. And I was like really kind of looking forward to get into it, because I couldn't sleep. And I was like, all right, well, here I am. And I was like cursing your name. And then like the death demon floating into the movie at the perfect time, I said, I fucking love Patrick McIntyre, because here comes these goddamn vampire bats to save the day. And then all of a sudden it was like my favorite movie of all time.
Well, I definitely love to hear that. My intention was not to exploit your claustrophobia. I feel like I kind of knew that, but I certainly wasn't taking that into account.
It's not huge claustrophobia or whatever. It's just like, it's uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It's like, you're like, God, you know, like that kind of thing. It's not like I really have a fear of that, but also I have to have a lot of MRIs in my life. So I'm kind of like, you know, okay, I get it. That's so maybe it was the trigger warning a little bit for me on that. But it's okay, because again, right after that scene, it's like, okay, now they're locked in this goddamn cave. Now you find out that this girl totally fucked them, because this isn't a cave that's ever been like looked after before, and they're stuck in there. They got to find their way out. And on top of it, here come the goddamn vampire bats. And there's a lot of them too.
I'm loving these first reactions for you. So this is great.
It's awesome. But you got to wait for it. If you don't know anything going into this movie, you got to wait for these fucking vampire bats, and then you're hooked. But I would say up until that point, you're kind of like, why am I watching this? It's like, yeah, it's fine. It's whatever, but like you could easily get on your phone and check out, But as soon as those vampire bats come in, all hands on deck.
All hands on deck for sure. It is definitely a slow burn, and that is one of the multiple reasons why it's one of my favorite of the decade. It takes its time to build things up. As you mentioned, the opening scene, just right out of the gate, the main character of Sarah loses her husband and child in a car accident, and it's pretty brutal. And it's her friends as the explorers, and it's all of them coping with it, and then just bam, go straight into 1 year later on their next expedition. So this was definitely a movie that starts off hard, and then it's taken its time with it, and that is, like I said, just one of the many reasons why I think it works so well, because it really lets itself breathe and lets you focus on this character and her trauma that she's experiencing from the loss of her husband and child, and her coping mechanism is to go spelunking in the Appalachian Mountains with her best friend. So
the woman who plays Sarah, that's right. Okay, her acting is incredible in the first scene where she's in like the hospital, and then she comes out and she's like, realizes what she lost and everything. From that point on, it gets exponentially worse throughout the movie. Like towards the end, when she's coming out of the cave and like everything, and she's like screaming and all that, and then she's screaming in the car. I'm like, what happened to this fucking actress? She's like horrible. Like at that point, I don't know if you agree or not, but in the beginning of the movie, she's fucking incredible, Oscar worthy, incredible. Towards the end, I'm like, maybe because she's supposed to get a little unhinged and she's trying to be unhinged. Like, I don't know. Her reactions just to me were a little bit like laughable.
Well, that actually plays into one thing I noticed on this watch around, is that she really does have a complete transformation. She loses her former self and transforms into somebody completely different. So like halfway through the movie, I'll describe the scene once we get to it, but like there is like basically a transformation scene when she sheds her former self, experiencing all the trauma, and she develops into certainly not somebody better or anything, but just a primal persona trying to survive while
that's probably why there's a disconnect for me, because
she's blank. Like she's completely blank. And in that final scene, I do get Sally Hardesty vibes. It's basically her screaming at the end of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, running out of the house. And, Texas Chainsaw, Neil Marshall cited Texas Chainsaw as like a huge inspiration for this movie, but yes, there is a complete shedding of her former self. And so that probably is kind of the total shift that you're talking about right there.
Yeah. I mean, again, that doesn't mean I didn't like the movie or anything like that. It's just, it's weird to kind of have her where I was like really loving her performance. And then it kind of fell off. But then again, it gets fucking unhinged as soon as those vampire bats come through. I mean, as soon as those fuckers show up, man, it's like, here we go. Everybody's all getting eaten, and now that you don't trust somebody, like I don't even understand like that main character, the one who's doing like the leading pretty much. Did she sleep with Sarah's her name was Sarah, right?
Sarah's the main character, and Juno is the like expedition leader.
So the expedition leader, did she sleep with Sarah's husband? Is that the whole thing with holding the feather thing up?
You mean the necklace?
Yeah.
So short answer, yes. And we'll definitely dive into that for sure, and how subtly this movie lets everything play out. So in the opening scene, we do see... Yeah,
sorry to get... But sorry, dude, I'm sorry. I'm giving it all away here.
No.
And for the audience listening, it's fucking crazy to me. Just the first time I've ever seen it, and all I really wanted to care about was these goddamn vampire bats. I mean, they're so awesome. But there's a lot of good plot, too. So Pat's about to talk about that, I'm sure.
That's why it works so well together. So it's a trauma from her loss, and then it just devolves into this hallucinatory trauma that she's experiencing with the crawlers, or vampire bats, as you're calling. I think crawlers is what Marshall calls them as the director. But Okay, so yes, we just a really quick synopsis. Yeah, so they go on the spelunking trip a year after the loss of Sarah's family. Juno is their leader. She's the one who's taken them into the Appalachian Mountains. Juno, I want to know your thoughts. Possibly the worst friend ever in a horror movie. Contender for the worst friend ever, basically. She takes him down to a cave that has never even been traversed or discovered, and she leaves the guidebook out of.
But she doesn't tell her friends that. That's the twist, right? Yeah.
She leaves the guy completely out of hubris, just in her ego trip, trying to do, in her words, something for Sarah, to like discover a cave and name it after Sarah as a way of their friendship. I guess that's kind of the way she was coping with it at the time. Slowly, Sarah starts hallucinating or not. Hearing children's laugh, seeing a little body scurry around, the voices she's hearing. I mean, she's been hallucinating the entire time. She has the visions of her dead daughter's birthday cake, which is basically the last thing that they said before her loss was about the birthday coming up. And that's going to be an image that haunts her throughout the entire movie, it just ties it up so well. And just really quick, I want to know, did you watch the alternate
I did.
ending? Okay.
I knew you sent it for a reason. So I made sure.
We'll get to that. And so they start in some of the most horrendous scenes where the crawling one, when the rock is coming down when she's stuck. Yeah, that one I'm sure you were not on board on. You were just like, as with everybody, that's one of the most scary scenes in the movie, is when they're like, Sarah's like getting stuck. She's basically hyperventilating, having her own trauma come up, hallucinating, and then she's stuck in the this crawl space. Beth's trying to get her out, keeping her calm, and then the rock just barely nudges down. They're like, oh shit, all right, time to move now. So
yeah, and I think that's the thing, is like, as soon as you get out of that scene, the one thing that we should be clear about is that this cave, she did leave the guidebook of the cave in there, but it didn't matter anyway, because what we find out immediately after that scene is that this cave is a cave that has never been explored, or really, like, there's no maps of it and no trails, and that's why she didn't bring the book, because she didn't tell her friends that.
That's true.
Her friends don't know that. Her friends are like thinking, okay, cool, well, it's been an explored cave, it's, she keeps on saying it's going to be like a lighter kind of experience, but it'll still be cool, it'll still be like hardcore, but it's like, at least people have mapped it, at least we know there's a way out, at least they're semi-safe. But now we find out they're in this uncharted cave that nobody's ever seen, and that sets up the fucking vampire bats. Or the crawlers, I don't know.
Crawlers.
Okay. Yeah. But I mean, they're in a cave. These fucking things are on the ceiling. How could you not think they're bats, right?
So Neil Marshall described them as, how did he describe it? I have his quote: cavemen that never left the cave and evolved underground. Like, so just that simple idea, because they come across the caveman drawings.
Right. So they're saying it was those people,
kind of, or just the fact that this, it's showing that this area has never been discovered, and it goes back to, at least it was in some form inhabited by cavemen. And so just the idea that they have been down there the entire time, evolving using echolocution. So basically they don't see, they hear everything. It's basically like a bat. So you are right. I mean, they are kind of vampiric, but there's no logic, or it's not like set in stone or anything.
Yeah, but they look like fucking bats
in the movie itself. It's self-contained. In the movie, they basically evolve to only hear and not see, because they're in the dark.
I'm not really buying the caveman thing. Like, okay, fine, I get it.
I mean, again, that has nothing to do with you watching the movie. It's just when Neil Marshall was directing, is like, this is kind of where I'm coming from psychology. Is like, hey, what if you came across cavemen that never left the cave? So, and what
kind of like Indiana Jones, when you come across like the guy who's like been in that cave guarding like the carpenter's cup of Jesus. That's kind of like that. He never left, because he's like the guardian of the cup. Well, anyway, listen,
he didn't represent a loss of a father and daughter. So, but that's right. That's different.
Well, okay. But in my opinion, it doesn't matter either way. It's still kick-ass. If they're cavemen that never left or they're vampire bats, either way, it's a threat to these women who are trying to get through. And now they've just realized that there might not be a way out of here anyway, that
they come across their nests. Okay, yes, but to stick on the thread with Juno fucking Sarah's husband. So like I said, there is a scene that Beth and Sarah kind of notice that while Paul, the husband, is like comforting Juno at the very beginning, taking her helmet off, unlocking her zipper, like right when they were getting off that first opening scene and their rafting trip. It's just a slight glance. That's it.
Obviously, I didn't know to look for that because it was my first time.
For sure. It's totally so. I mean, I recognize these things. I've seen this movie 20 fucking times, but it's so well played out in terms of it's subtle, but it wraps up perfectly. Love each day is a quote that Sarah throws out before the spelunking trip, and that she says it's just something that Paul used to say. So that comes back when the first attack happens, which I'm sure you loved, the choreography and just how you sent me that picture of the charming man. And obviously that is a huge, that's the scene that everybody remembers from this is that first sighting of the crawler, just the camera panning over and it's right behind Beth and then starts attacking him. So
it kind of has that bone tomahawk surprise feel, right? For the audience. Cause you're on this ride. And again, that's why I said, don't listen to this if you haven't seen the film, because I'd hate for that feeling to get lost on anybody. Like seeing stuff like that. Like when I saw Bone Tomahawk for the first time, like the feeling that I got as soon as I saw that guy get split in half, I was like, holy shit. I mean, it's a shocking moment in movie history for me, and kind of similar. It's not, I wouldn't say it's as shocking as Bone Tomahawk, but it's pretty shocking when all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, the fuck is down here,
Yeah. So Juno is defending herself and ends up, out of anger and fear and complete shock, ends up slicing Beth in the neck, thinking it was a crawler coming up behind her. Grabs Juno's necklace, and this is the necklace that Sarah finds later on when Beth is still dying after Juno left her and didn't try to save her or anything. It's the necklace. It's basically the MacGuffin. It really is the MacGuffin in the most subtle way that it shows that Juno had a necklace basically from Paul that says "Love each day." That's how Sarah finds out. Basically, this was Juno fucking my husband the whole time. And again, the way this plays out, none of this is verbalized at all. It's really only through these 4 beats throughout the whole movie that ties it together. But it ties it together so effectively.
Yeah, that's awesome.
While unfolding with the crawlers attacking everybody.
I mean, I got it, right? I'm even...
No, so I didn't get it probably for years.
Oh, really?
At least that clear. Okay. At least that overtly, or at least describing it that way. I mean, I certainly you get obviously that Juno killed Beth and left her for dead, and then Sarah takes a retribution out after she sheds herself and becomes her new primal self. So you definitely get all that, but the infidelity aspect between Juno and Sarah, and how Juno's probably the worst friend in a horror movie ever, and sometimes women just don't like each other that much, even when they're friends.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is that these two, Juno is saying the whole time, we got to do these things for you. And, I know you went through so much, and, I love you and we all care about you. But the whole time she knows she's fucked this girl's husband, and she's sending them into a cave that's never been explored and sending them into danger. It's like, what? That is pretty diabolical.
Yeah. So again, that is what ties up that aspect of it so well. And then the coinciding one is Sarah's trauma and loss of her family, and then the way it unfolds with the hallucinations. And then it does get to that scene when she's basically separated. This happens basically right after Juno kills Beth. There's basically a child, a crawler child that attacks Sarah. And so
I noticed they're different, but I never really noticed that one was a child. Is that wow? Okay, so obviously putting like her depression and her trauma into a physical form.
Yeah, it's actually a crawler child that attacks her. It's obviously not going to kill her immediately. She ends up killing it, and then the mother attacks her. And it goes to this.
Oh, okay. So the second one is the mother.
Dark hair with the dark hair. Yeah, because they are gendered for sure. Like
I was a little confused at that. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep interrupting you. I was a little confused about that scene because I was kind of like, okay, yeah, like the whole Apocalypse Now thing, right? With her coming out of the water, and then is this like the transformation that you're talking about?
That's 100%. Her coming out is basically her coming out as a whole new person. Certainly not like any improved person. It's just a complete degradation of all her modern self. It's just a primal character that she's become.
Which is primal is good with like all the blood, of course, and it kind of looks like you're baptized in blood and kind of Mandy-esque, right?
It looks so good. I love the colors in this, the greens, the red with the blood. But yeah, she dives into the pool. That slow rise of her head. The mother comes out. She kills the mother. And then basically one of the males comes out too. Right after that, and she kills him as well, and then that's when she does her rage scream, staring up to the so she kills an entire family one by one of the crawlers, and that's basically her shedding her former self and becoming like a primal character.
It's interesting because I was wondering because again, I'm sorry to keep on saying it, but I think these are the fucking vampire bats. So I thought that the one with the hair, I thought that was maybe one of the girls that like changed or something because she changed into a vampire bat. That's what I was thinking.
Whoa, that would have been wild. Yeah,
but that's
definitely not that, but I could definitely
you're right, but
that would be, that would add a whole another crazy level to it. But yeah, it definitely wasn't that. They definitely go to the surface for food. And at one point they fall into the pit with all the, like the actual animals like deer and bears and whatever thing in the forest. And that's basically how they know that, like, all right, at least there's some way that we could possibly get out of this cave. Yeah. And so, they're definitely just eating actual animals and not turning anybody into it. But that would be a pretty dope idea for a sequel, though. So,
I mean, I don't know if there's any sequels, but there has to be, right?
There is one. Yeah. And it is kind of like a RoboCop for me that I just have not watched it. It's not from Neil Marshall.
Recently with I just saw something recently on a reel with Tarantino talking about. He's like, "Fucking Toy Story 3 is a great movie." You know how Tarantino?
Yes,
fucking Toy Story 3 is a great movie, and then he's like, "But Toy Story 4 came out. Maybe that's a great movie too. I don't know though. I'm done. I'm just done. Toy Story 3 was great. I don't need to see Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
And I was like, that makes sense. Sometimes you just don't want to. That's your whole thing about RoboCop. It's like, fucking love RoboCop. What else do I need to see the sequel for? It's
a little bit. I definitely know that because he says Toy Story is one of the best trilogies of all time, and I 100% agree with that. So I do like 4 quite a bit of Toy Story, but yes, like you're saying, I could definitely understand and respect that he was just like, it's okay. I'm okay that it exists, but I just don't feel the need to watch it. So
yeah.
So like I said, just really that's that transformation scene. And again, it's really subtle, but it's something I definitely picked up on this last viewing more than I ever had before. Cause it's just beat for beat, like kills the child, kills the mother, rises from the blood, kills the father, kills the entire family, screams out in rage. And then that's when, at some point she reconnects with Juno, and you're right. She just has that dead stare on her face as she's assessing the situation. She's basically a primal beast now. So
yeah, well, we can get into it because I'm sure that'll be kind of towards the end of our conversation when we talk about like the alternate endings. But that kind of makes sense why you'd like the alternate ending instead of the US version that is the one we saw. Just because
100%.
It kind of ties in what you just talked about with the family and like the girl with the cake, and it's kind of like, maybe we'll talk about it now just because we're bringing it up. But in my mind, so for everybody out there listening, there's an alternate ending to this movie that Pat hit me to, and I guess that's the one that they showed in Europe.
I think the alternate, and it's not even alternate, it's just extended. It just keeps on going. So this was since the beginning. I still remember I'm going to date how old I am, because this is like I would read Entertainment Weekly all the time back in the early 2000s. In the
we used to get that at Suncoast. So
it's my favorite magazine all through like the 2000s. Because it was fucking great. Like if you just kind of use it as a general source of info. I mean, I don't know. Like I said,
dude, that's how I feel about TMZ.
Myself.
You need to start going on the TMZ. It's like Entertainment Weekly on crack, dude. It's great. It's great. It's a great.
I mean, do they have movie recommendations?
I'm sure they've got it all. You know, they got it all. I'm just going to say yes.
Okay. But I remember them talking about the different endings, and because it was kind of a big deal. So this is a UK movie, and in the UK version, well, let's just say in the US version, what we got in theaters, she escapes. She tumbles down, crawls up that. It's such a beautiful fucking scene, crawling up the pit of bones into the light. I love the music, the symphonic score, and the escape. It's basically another like birth transformation scene of a different self. Gets out, gets to the car. Like I said, kind of like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, screaming, running away from the house type vibe. Gets in.
You can see a lot of the land. It's very much like that because that's kind of how the end is. Well,
and just as the actor, like it's the blonde, similar fit to Sally from Texas Chainsaw, covered in blood. It looks just like it. So, gets in the car, she throws up, and then she sees the ghost of Juno, and that's basically the end of the U.S. version. And the UK version of what they saw was everything was the same up to that. And then she screams from seeing the ghost of Juno. And then she opens her eyes and realizes it was a whole hallucination. She's still back in the cave in that initial fall after killing Juno. And it's just so gorgeous the way she's just like, she leans up and it's the last vision of the birthday cake. And you see her looking straight into the eyes of her daughter. And so it's just super calm, super slow. You hear the creature still in the background, pulls in and then pulls out and sees that it's obviously not her daughter there. No cake. It's just her and the torch. And then slowly keeps on panning back. And as you see the crawlers begin to crawl in, infesting her. And to me, like I get like the escape ending where you do escape, but it's still like a twinge of the ghost. But like having that ending where it's a hallucination and she's still in the cave is 100% my preferred take on the movie. And I mean, from what I can understand, like everybody I've ever talked to, like loves this movie. Is basically well. So
how do you think that ending goes? Like, what do you think happens after it fades to black?
I honestly don't think about it that much, but she is smiling. Was one thing I've noticed. She not smiling, but like she has like a smirk of like realization of like as she's like staring there crouched with her hallucination looking at her daughter. She has a smirk on her face, like I said. So I think it is representative of that primal self. She's no longer the same person at all. So there is, I don't know. You know, it doesn't even matter what would happen, but there is a sense that she would not just be instantly destroyed. That's all I'm saying. So,
well, that's what I think. Like, and that's why I like it. It's like, well, of course, yeah. Once it fades to black, it's really not up to like any one person what happens, right? It's like, you know, you can spin it a million different ways. So it's great about the movies. But I will say what I think is that, yeah. She's fucked, you know, but it doesn't matter because she's not there. In her mind, she's at peace. And that's why I think you're saying you see the smile or whatever. Like she's here with her daughter who she loves. Who fucked this Paul guy? Because obviously he's fucking everybody in the friends group. She didn't give a shit about him. She cares about the girl, the little daughter, which is really what she cared about in the first place.
It was definitely only Juno. I think that's important. I don't think any of the other friends would have fucked her over like that. So
no, because it's not a movie anyway about these other girls. It's just between Juno and Sarah, really. You know, the whole time.
I mean, like I said, the first half really does. There is, especially with Beth. Beth is the one who, you know, gets sliced in the neck from Juno on accident and then grabs the necklace. Their friendship. I mean, she's the one who comes in with Beth going into it. So I think that does work.
Yeah, no, I mean, you need those characters. I'm not saying you don't, but I'm saying the movie is about really the relationship, because what we haven't talked about yet is the ending for Juno. What happens to her?
Yeah, I guess we did skip over that. Yeah, so I mean, it's they start fighting the creatures when Sarah emerges, and yeah, the reveal of the MacGuffin, her just letting that necklace down, and the look they give to each other as Juno is like, "Oh,
you get it."
she knows it all now. We're stuck down in this cave now." So, what did you think about that? Did you buy the fact that she ended up choosing to take out her friend's leg and just leave her to the crawlers?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's a pretty
shitty friends.
Fucked up way. Yeah, it's a pretty fucked up way to die. Like, I'm gonna let you fend for yourself, but you're not gonna be able to walk away from here. You can't run. So that's really what she's doing. She's like, she takes this pickaxe and right into her leg, Juno's leg, and then
kind
Juno's
of a proxy.
Like, okay,
yeah,
I'm still a badass. I'm still gonna kill these motherfuckers, but she's way outnumbered. I mean, goddamn vampire bats are all over the place. They're coming in on her, and there's nothing she could do. So that was pretty, that was pretty renegade of Sarah to do that. And then the ending for me is a little hard to wrap up, because you're enjoying so much like the insanity that's going on down in that cave, that almost like when you see the light of day, you do feel relief for her. But then in the original version, you're kind of like, oh, now she's got to be haunted again. It's kind of like, I'd rather she just got away. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't need to see Juno again in the car. Like, there doesn't mean I think it's just like let it be over, because you kind of like, you do want Sarah to like be free, and she's the one who made it, but she went through so much shit. So just like give her a break, But then that's why I kind of like the second version so much, because it doesn't matter. I feel like even if she does get eaten or killed by these crawlers or whatever, she's fine with it, because she's found her peace. But you don't get the peace in the first version, no matter what.
Yeah, well, like I said, that's again, there is peace is not the right word from what I'm seeing in terms. I mean,
of acceptance.
No, I'm not saying what you were saying, but I'm saying like from what I like say, like I said, that transformation, like the shedding of her former self. There is a cleansing, I guess, that is. Again, none of this is hopeful. This movie is all hopelessness for sure. That's why I love it so much. So, but that cleansing is kind of her rebirth, and so there is something to that for sure. But again, it is largely the vision, the birthday cake that comes back at the end is why it's, whether or not she gets out or doesn't get out doesn't matter to me. It's that tying up the whole thread of her hallucinations and visions that she's getting throughout the whole movie is what makes it far superior in my opinion. Like, just, I mean, I shouldn't even say like which one's better. It's just like I just like watching that as the closing aspect of the movie 10 times better. And the older I get, the more I watch. The last minute of the movie is disproportionately affects how much I like a movie for sure. So. The finale and the last couple minutes of a movie largely affects how much I really do enjoy a movie. So I don't know what that means, but it just is a fact. So
why bring this movie up now to me? I felt like you had a different one we were going to go over, right? Have you been rewatching it recently, or?
Well, it's been on the list since we started the podcast. So
has it really?
Oh yeah. This is like I said, this is definitely one of my favorite horror movies of that decade. This probably is a top 10 horror movie of all time for me. So I would, it definitely, I would say, I mean, easily top 20, but it might be in my top 10. So, you know what? I know why I did choose it. Well, 2005 is, I think, the official release date. So 20th anniversary. So just looking back, like I said, I think it was filmed in 2004. Released in the UK for 2005, and then we saw the States here in 2006. So that's part of it. But I know actually what spurred me, and I text you the day for it, is because I just came across a randomly, like just the algorithm on some of my social media, I guess, Trent Reznor's favorite horror movies of all time, and he had this on his list. So,
oh no shit,
it just I love, a lot of people love this fucking movie, but just I remember seeing that it wasn't even a huge list, but he listed it on there, and I was like, you know what, let's just it's time for The Descent. So, wow, I like cool. the anniversary viewings. I think that's appropriate. We got some good ones coming up. I know Mad Max Fury Road is going to be coming up for us soon. So.
Yeah, totally. And that's one. Oh man, I wish I would have seen that at the Vista when I showed you that. I missed it by a day. And Marianne was telling me, she's like, yeah, there was a line around the block for that movie last night. Oh, yeah. And I was like, makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, I'll see it. And I know it's one of your favorites. You've talked about it for a long time, so I can't wait. But there's a lot of anniversaries, coming up. Like, and man, oh man, those like anniversaries keep coming, don't they?
Well, wasn't it? I mean, we'll get to talk about Val Kilmer, but we covered Heat last week, and that was the 30th anniversary of that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely need to talk about Val Kilmer. There's a lot to cover. There's a lot been happening in the world, Pat. I don't know if you've noticed.
No, I don't pay attention to anything other than the icons passing away. I have to pay attention to that. Everything else, I turned a blind eye to. So,
I mean, mostly for me too, but last night I was at an event at the Netflix thing. And the last time I went to one of those Netflix things, I told you, like, oh man, it's so cool. Cause like we used to have to try to sell the DVDs of Netflix movies, at Suncoast when we worked there. And it's always so fun when Marianne and I, cause she worked there too. And we'll walk into these buildings that are just so huge and beautiful. And like the behemoth that Netflix has become since then, it's like so funny to think of like us two little, workers slinging subscriptions to Netflix now, attending in LA, like, a premiere of something. But yeah, I wanted to say, so I was talking with somebody there at the end of the night, and then that's how I found out about Val Kilmer, which is so fucking stupid these days how things happen. But she opened up her Instagram to like do the connection thing, where she's like, okay, what's your Instagram handle, and she's like, oh my God, Val Kilmer died. And I was like, God damn it. Like immediately my night was like fucked, I was like, oh man, and I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm Huckleberry, I'm just saying all these one-liners. I couldn't even focus. I went and had another whiskey. It was one of those nights, and we just covered Heat. We're just talking about how great he's in that movie.
Yeah.
He's going to, after his passing, he's going to be looked at under a different lens by people. I feel like he never got the due he deserves, right?
Yeah. And I've seen people point this out. I don't know anything about him as a person, especially as a like a professional actor, and like the way he navigated himself amongst the business. But it seems like there was probably something that he didn't play ball with like the powers that be throughout the years. Not like he was like a difficult person or anything. He was like a true actor who wanted to be and do certain types of roles and do the best he can. And from what I understand, it's not like I work in the business, but a lot of those types of actors who don't instantly play ball, it's often upward battle basically for them and their career. So I kind of almost feel like that's something along the lines of his career, because he made so many incredible movies, but it never seemed to be the spotlight that he should have been. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird because he's such a huge star. It's like it's weird when that happens, right? But I don't know if you ever watched that documentary that came out. I think he like.
No, it's been meaning to. Like I know it's supposed to be good, so yeah.
I think it's on like one of like the worst streamers too, which is like Hulu, and because it's just got ads all over the
huge
place.
Shot on Hulu out of nowhere. Man.
Yeah, well, that's the one that like all of a sudden had ads, and when those ads come up, they are 12 times louder than the goddamn thing you're watching, and so it's like I don't even fuck with Hulu anymore. Like fuck them,
That's
like, when
why
you start
people,
doing that.
That's why
to
people
me,
watch subtitles now, because like the way sound is with everything, with streaming and different technology.
Garbage.
That's why everybody keeps the sound down. Just like young people just watch subtitles nonstop now. It's like because it's terrible like that. So.
I watch it with subtitles because I can't hear from all my years of music. Kids are just watching it because they just don't want to deal with the volume spikes. Amazing. But yeah, I mean,
get to the same place.
It was okay, the Val Kilmer thing. But it was also enlightening. Yeah, it's fine. There's something in there you're talking about with playing ball and stuff like that. And it could be a little wrong. It's been a while since I saw it. But I believe he used to be the guy who went around the sets with a movie camera, like a camcorder. And that's why there's a lot of that stuff like from like the Island of Dr. Moreau that he did with Brando. And I think Brando was pissed about that or something. Somebody was mad. And, he pissed off Marlon Brando, kind of. I don't care what stage Brando you're talking about. You're kind of fucked,
So speaking of Island Dr. Moreau, that documentary about that movie is one of my favorites. It's about Richard Stanley's lost version. Richard Stanley was the original director, and then he was replaced.
Oh, right.
That's why that movie was, and the documentary, Lost Souls, the something story about Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau. So it's all about Richard Stanley as a director, where he came from, and then trying to make that movie, and then all the behind the scenes stuff with all the different actors and the shifting of it and all the drama with Brando and Kilmer. And it's such a great documentary. So
got it. I've never seen it. I want to. That sounds awesome.
And not to get too deep into it, but yeah, Richard Stanley did get blacklisted for years, and he did come back with a movie that I do eventually want to cover. It's he finally made it back to making the movie. He wanted to cover H.P. Lovecraft, and it's not even that old of a movie, just maybe 4 or 5 years old now. Color Out of Space, H.P. Lovecraft movie starring Nicolas Cage. It is an absolute masterpiece.
Wow. Okay.
It's so fucking fantastic. And it's an amazing topper to Richard Stanley's career. Once you see this documentary, you'll be amazed by like what he went through. And then to get back to making that movie, and the H.P. Lovecraft movie came out fantastic. So we'll definitely talk more about that at some point, because those two are on my list. But yeah.
Cool.
Back to Kilmer. Yeah. I mean, the dude was
favorite Kilmer role for you.
That's a good question. I mean,
I know you got to think about it a bit, but
Heat is up there. What do you think?
Dude, I cannot get over him being Doc Holliday, right? It plays Doc Holliday, or is he in Tombstone?
Yeah.
Doc Holliday. Why have I even questioned that? I had a couple of whiskeys last night. Yeah. Doc Holliday, if fucking I'm your Huckleberry, come on. Like, so good. Lunger, like, oh man, Kurt Russell, so good in that movie. That cast, get the fuck out of here with that. So I'd say that's my favorite Val Kilmer. Really love that. It's such like a not Darren Varel movie either. It's like, kind of wishy-washy about Westerns anyway. But I just Val Kilmer kind of makes it for me.
It's so good. You fucking love Westerns. I don't know why you always say you don't like Westerns. Like
you're right. I do. So when I watch them, I'm like, oh man, like I'm the one who suggested Unforgiven. I love Unforgiven. Yeah. But like, there's something about just like, the idea of someone's like, hey, what do you want to watch? I would never say I want to watch a Western, but I never not enjoy them. I'm always like, yeah, like some of my favorite movies are Westerns. Like I love Once Upon a Time in the West. Well, yeah, there is something. Maybe there's something wrong with me.
I think you just have a preconceived notion of it.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a couple Westerns that I have on the short list of movies to watch. Contemporary Westerns, Hell or High Water, and then the 3:10 to Yuma remake. Both of those. Have you seen either one of those?
No, I remember the 3:10 one. Maybe you were telling me a while ago that it was like really good. Yeah,
I love that. It's what's his name? Who was just nominated for the Dylan movie?
Oh, Mangold, James Mangold.
Yeah, it's a James Mangold movie.
Have you
that
seen
one's fantastic? So,
The Quick and the Dead.
Yeah. Fucking
I've never Sam Raimi though, right?
Yeah, it's a Sam. I haven't seen it for years, but yeah, it is a Sam Raimi movie, and yeah, that cast is pretty crazy. It's
I always kind of don't believe it, like that it's going to be good because of the cast. You know, it's like, and Sam Raimi do. I mean, I know Sam Raimi can kill it, and in that kind of space. I know he's did the Xena and the Hercules things, and that's in such a weird universe. But so I it's just got to be quirky and weird. That's all I think about it. That can't be like a.
So you haven't seen it?
No, never seen it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I would recommend highly watching it for the cast. I mean,
DiCaprio, right?
DiCaprio, Russell Crowe, Gene Hackman, and why am I forgetting her? What's her nuts?
Sharon Stone.
Yeah, she's great in it. Super young DiCaprio. So yeah. For that alone, just to see a Sam Raimi movie directing those four in a Western, even if it's not that great, which it is pretty good. So
cool.
But no, 3:10 to Yuma and Hell or High Water are two modern Westerns that I think you would like quite a bit. So we're definitely going to cover that. Val Kilmer, and then we'll backtrack to Descent. We like our tangents on this episode for sure, and just in general. I mean, I do like him in The Doors a lot. It's not like it's like a fucking awesome movie or anything.
No, it's great. He's also great as John Holmes, the porn star. I mean, I saw that movie. I think it was called Wonderland or something. Or Wonderland, maybe.
That. Yeah,
he's pretty great in that.
But yeah, I'd say. I mean, I do like him in Batman actually quite a bit. I think he kind of is like low key one of the better, like Bruce Wayne and Batman. Like he's good at both of them in that one. That one's like underrated. Like it's not as.
Is that the one with Dr. Freeze? Mr. Freeze? No.
He did Batman Forever. That's with Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Riddler. Yeah.
That one's good. Like that one's pretty good. It's aged very, very well. Like it wasn't like super well received. It was kind of getting into the goofier territory, but like, as with art, it just like changes so much. It's like the perception of that now is much more welcome.
Yeah,
it's
Joel Schumacher kind of pissed people off because he just kind of took like the campiness of Tim Burton's and just like exploded it,
Well, he brought up like he took some of Burton's stuff and then added a lot of like the 60s Batman.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like the campy stuff. Yeah.
Which at the time people were like, because that was before Christopher Nolan's Batman. So most people wanted something darker. But now that we've gone through the dark phase, we've gotten all the dark movies. Now, like every fucking superhero movie is like tortured and gritty. It's like, well,
that's why I hated the Pattinson Batman. I didn't like it.
That one I liked quite a bit. But yeah, I like I said, I get why people are like, I'm tired of it being overly dreary. Because that definitely goes in that direction.
And I don't want all these motherfuckers coming in and out of the Batman universe. It's like just give me Batman. I don't want. You know what I mean? It's like that's why I can't get on board with like the.
Well, wait a minute. What do you mean coming in and out?
Like I'm talking about like all of a sudden Superman shows up or some shit. It's like no, I just want Batman. I don't want like all of a sudden Wonder Woman's in the universe. It's like the all these characters and Batman. It's like, no, it's Batman. That's why I think Christopher Nolan's Batmans are the best in my opinion. But you can't discount Tim Burton. And Tim Burton's is probably like better because I just was of the age to see him and they're so stylized and so kick-ass. But then I want to see the serious part. And I love Christian Bale. So those versions of Batman to me are great. When the Pattinson thing came up, it was just like, why? This story's been seen. This is just a moneymaker almost, in my opinion, at that point.
I did like how he went full goth, where he was like a tortured figure. He's not like some suave Bruce Wayne that he was like. That was a good eye roll. No. I mean, like I said, I saw it once.
Pattinson's not a good Batman.
I saw it once. I'm fine with it. Like, it's not like I care about that movie that much or anything. I thought it was good. I liked that he really was like, not some suave billionaire. It was like a hermit, like he was a legit broken person. Really going into that, like that hyper-realism. Like if you're dressing up as a bat to fight crime, you're probably not a well-adjusted person, even if you're feigning it. So
I actually really like the Penguin series on HBO. That
I hear people love that.
Colin Farrell. Yeah, I think you'd like it a lot, to be honest with you. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, we have been getting on some tangents. That's not like I meant to go there, but yeah, we're talking about Val Kilmer, who's so fresh. He just passed away yesterday. So
we're tangent heavy on this podcast anyway. But then one last role that I like Val Kilmer a lot is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
The noir with Robert Downey, Shane Black. And I haven't seen it for a while, but I remember him being fucking hilarious in that movie. Just so well done.
I think it's 2005 as well. I think so.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
2005. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
It kind of fell under the radar when that came out, but I actually had a DVD of that. And I liked it too. It's been a while since I've seen it. Yeah. I remember Downey kind of being off his ass in that too.
That was one of his like early kind of returns, like early roles. Drug stuff? Yeah, like where he was gone for a while or just not in many roles. Certainly not a lot of leading roles. Like that was one of his first big ones that got him back on everybody's radar. So
yeah, doing Sherlock Holmes after that and everything.
I never saw those. It was good.
I never saw them either, but I just know they were blockbusters.
Okay, we got no opinions on that. So.
If you're out there and you've seen the Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr., let us know if we should see them.
Please tell me. So, okay, backtrack a little bit. What movie are we talking about today? Oh yeah, that's right, The Descent.
Are we spelunking back into the Descent?
Love The Descent. It's it really is a metal horror movie. Like the graphic violence in this, like I always forget like how well done the special effects are, just the practical effects of the violence and everything. So
it works so well because of, like you said, how they light it, because you're not seeing
the lighting is so awesome. Like, because it's only, you're only getting like yellow from the flashlights or from the strobe. From the flashlights. You get green from the forest, you get blood from the red, and then green with like the strobe light that they have on some parts. So it's like just really those four colors and then blackness all around it throughout the entire movie. And it's just like that color scheme throughout. It's so fucking great. I love it.
Yeah. I also think like, it obviously helps because you can dip these characters, these crawlers in and out of the shadows that way really well. And that adds, of course, to the scariness of it all. Like you never know where they're going to be or around what corner. Yeah. But also like they're like pretty stark white. So it was an interesting decision to make them stick out that way. Cause they're like really like when they're like, you tell me, but I didn't really notice any CGI.
There's one shot when there's very little. There's the one shot, and it might not even be CGI, actually. It might just be superimposed. But the shot when Juno gets
that's the only one I saw.
In the lake. Yeah. Okay.
That's because she's like that.
It's behind her back, and
they're on the ceiling,
and they're like kind of closing on her.
But I don't even know that CGI in there. And I agree with you. Like maybe.
But yes, everything else is fully practical. And this is 2005. This is like still on the cusp, and it was like CGI wasn't the guarantee, I guess is the best way to put it. Yeah, it was prominent for sure.
Which I'm glad they didn't, because I feel like even in Signs, like the CGI stuff in that, I love Signs. When there's CGI stuff in that, it takes me out of it. I fucking hate that. That was early CGI stuff that they just fucked up,
that's a whole thing. The way. I don't know what the incentive is. I still cannot understand how CGI now can look worse than mid-90s CGI. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. Like one CGI that always gets pointed out, and I think it is kind of peak CGI, is Davy Jones in the Pirates of the Caribbean sequel. Like the squid
tentacles.
Yeah. Yeah, looks fucking great. I rewatched those movies last year.
It looks great. I know. I was gonna say, are you about to talk shit about it? No,
I'm saying that's like I think peak CGI, like the best CGI I've ever seen. Like,
I agreed. Yeah, I was kind of
that's like 2007. It's like, and you have Marvel movies now that like you put side by side. It's like 20 years. It's like 15 years later, and it's noticeably worse. So there has to be something. Either with like, just not investing in people enough to do the good work, or the, movies that go global. There is a certain type of, texture and style that sometimes is purposely turned down so that you can connect movies globally. So I don't know. There's just something where it's like, you're obviously able to do it. It's just not being done. So well, I mean, in this movie, at least, I didn't really notice anything, and that was great. Because I especially with creature movies, you want those practical effects. I think the only thing it's not dated, but the night vision using the camera, just that was pretty popular in the. I
was gonna say it sounded like the found footage, or it felt like the found footage kind of horror movie because of that. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that's one thing I was like, oh, it's not that far removed from Blair Witch, but Blair Witch would have been like 98, right? So it's like not that many years, but like that was such a style after that happened that a lot of people were picking it up, and I put this in the same year. And
this was when like Paranormal Activities, those movies were coming out probably around the same time. So it's like,
exactly.
So this is not CG. This is not found footage at all, but they just are walking around with that camera and with some of those, like, like the image you sent me, like that's seen through the camera footage. So, so it has a tinge of that. So, but it works for the setting completely. It's, I mean, the setting is half the movie, and that camera is the only thing, is the only reason why they can often see it that sometimes. So it makes sense.
Oh, right. Exactly. There, so. Yeah. Because that's like, it's used as a tool almost for seeing than it is found footage. But I also like when they did that and they picked it up, I thought, oh, is everyone going to die? And this is what's going to be left behind so that people can see what happened down here kind of thing. That
would be the sci-fi version that came out in 96 that we would see premiere on cable for sure. So, I love that scene when Sarah's got the camera and it's basically her learning that it can't see, it can only hear. So like she falls into the pit, and she's just trying to freeze herself in the camera, and you see the creature, the crawler, come up to the camera, like sniffing and trying to see if there's anything there or hear anything. Yeah. So it's like, that's all she's seeing. It's like 3 inches from her face. And since she's not moving, it can't hear her. So it's like, it doesn't attack her. So good.
Super great. Super great. Yeah. I was so surprised when these creatures came out that I was like jumping for joy almost. I was like, yes, like, and that's the power of making you wait for it. So sometimes it's funny because you have to like anticipate that your audience is going to stick with you, Isn't there that old Ebert thing that he says, like, if in the first 20 minutes the movie is not captured, you walk the fuck out or whatever.
Oh.
I think there's some quote like that they've said it. I don't know if it was in the book.
Don't tell that to the younger generation now. So,
well, totally, right? I mean, you got to make people, sometimes sit in it for a minute. What
am I saying? I fucking get impatient as shit. I just don't tell me that now. So don't tell me that now. So, I mean, I guess, I haven't heard that quote, but I mean, I can't argue with it. But at the same time, that's what streaming is, the biggest assault to that quote. Yeah. If you combine that quote with streaming, then it's not good.
Can you imagine Ebert now? He'd have to like deal with the fact that you could put it to 4 times speed, like to watch a movie on 4 times fucking speed. Get out of here. Yeah. Why is that even an option? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like on Netflix, you can put it like
speeding up a movie just to watch it faster. You're saying?
Yes. Like you can do it to like play it from one, normal speed all the way up to like 4 times speed. And people just like sit here like I'm doing with you. Oh, I'm on some Zoom meeting. I got this fucking movie in the background. I'm playing at 4 times speed. What? It doesn't make any sense to me, but.
Well, that's like the Woody Allen quote. He's like, they have War and Peace on books on tape and you can hear it in 10 minutes or something, like sped up in 10 minutes. It's like, it was about Russia, right? And so.
Amazing.
Yes, I do know that watching stuff on 1.5 is, I know a lot of people do that. So I don't know about movies, but like videos, if they're watching YouTube or whatnot, 1.5 is often a default for a lot of people. So.
That actually makes sense if you're just trying to like get some information quick. Fine.
A podcast.
Sit into a movie and
not
enjoy
our podcast.
It. No, not our podcast.
But 1. I know other podcasts, you can do 1.5. That's all right. So.
Yeah, you don't sound too much like a chipmunk at 1.5, I guess.
Would you be Alvin, Simon, or Theodore?
I'm sorry?
Would you be Alvin, Simon, or Theodore?
Alvin, dude.
The party animal? Yeah, for sure.
I mean, yeah, and the baddest ass one. Theodore is like a dork, right? Simon's a brainy dummy, like, you know, smart ass. And then you got Alvin, yeah, who just likes to party. He's got the coolest outfit.
He was the OG party animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go with that. I was just testing. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Claustrophobia, hopelessness, and rebirth. That's what I wrote the movie's about. So
say that one more time.
Claustrophobia, hopelessness, and rebirth.
Yeah. Great things to put into a movie, especially about loss, you know?
Yeah. That was my 4-word review of the movie that I wrote yesterday when I watched it.
That is like a TikTok generation review for sure. So we'll put a slice of that. Hey, do you want to know how The Descent was?
Yeah.
Just ask Pat.
Fuck yeah. One thing I've always thought, this would be a great double feature with The Thing. You got The Descent with an all-female cast, and then The Thing with an all-male cast, and 2 of the best creature features of all time, just on a double bill. So that'd be pretty fun, I've always thought. So
as soon as we open up our new movie, you know, where we can sell movies and DVDs again, and just like the old days, we're doing that in our store. I've
been telling you, I'll be there day one. So
yeah.
So you're saying that's going to be our double feature for the just screening on the TVs, or is that a marquee thing that we'll do?
I don't know. You know, yeah, we're going to put it up there that it's playing that day. So if we're switching gears, I'll tell you the double feature that I'm seeing tomorrow.
Well, yeah, let's wrap up. Any final thoughts on The Descent and your first time watch?
No, but
my favorites.
As per usual, you brought me another gem that I love. And again, in the first 20 minutes or whatever, I was like, fuck you, you know, like, that's the best thing. It's because I was like, I just didn't know what to expect. And that's the best thing. Like, you know, like I don't really mean fuck you, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, why would I like this movie? And then it tells you why, you know? And I love that. I love creature stuff. Yeah. And I love like people trapped in a space where they're like being hunted. So for me, it gave me everything I wanted, but I had to wait for it, and the payoff was worth it. So I highly recommend. It was funny because literally, as we were getting into that like 20 to half-hour space, I was like, I'm not recommending this movie. I was thinking this is the first movie I'm gonna have to tell Pat on this like thing. Like I don't. And I'm not into it. You know? I'm
assuming you've never been lying to me, but yeah.
No, I mean, I do pretty much like every movie that we've reviewed. That's funny. That's funny. I thought about it the other day. I think there's like, I didn't like Under the Silver Lake. Like that was the one that I couldn't get on board with. And I know everyone that's listening to this that heard me say that and that has heard me say that in the past is like hates me about it. But I decided I got to watch it again maybe. But yeah, that's the only one I wasn't really digging.
There's no right or wrong, man.
Yeah, no.
It's just vibes, and that is a slow burn. So I've said it before. It's like I feel confident if you do have the inkling to revisit that one, you'll see there's definitely something there. So
yeah.
But no, yeah, The Descent. Like I said, the slow burn aspect of it. That the slope. I mean, you don't see the creatures or even get an idea of where it's going until like 40-45 minutes in, if even that. And that's a huge reason why it works so well for me. So,
yeah, awesome. Thanks for bringing this one out. Everybody that's out there and listening, I'm sure you must really love this film too. If you're listening to this podcast about it, because I don't know, is it a pretty popular? Yeah. Okay.
Amongst the horror, I mean, very much amongst horror community. Like this is very rarely will you see a best of the 2000s without this being on it, let alone being near the top. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, but it is, you know, one of those where it's, you know, not niche to the horror community. It's just disproportionately popular in the horror community, and you know, amongst normies, you know, maybe they just need a little extra push to watch it. Because I get it. Yeah. I mean, it is a fucking harrowing setting. People are like, oh, that's what's going on? Fuck that. I'm not watching that. So
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
That's the shit that sells me. I'm like, oh, that's the movie I have to watch now. So
yeah.
Love it.
Cool.
All right.
Well, there you go. The Descent from 2005. 2 thumbs up. Wait, we can't say that. Very much enjoyed by Patrick and myself.
One last feat. I looked up Ebert's review. He did not review it because he was out sick at this time, recovering. But his replacement for that week gave it 4 stars. So by proxy, Ebert's side person gave him 4 stars. So
good enough for me.
Take it as what it is.
Yeah.
All right. I want to hear about your double feature and then this incredible meeting of Jim Jarmusch that's been going on.
Oh man, I got a lot to tell you about. Okay,
Clearly.
So here's the time when we share our exploits around town, and I just want to say before we do that, like I read that, or I guess I saw on Instagram that Richard Roper, who was a one-time partner, you heard about this? Yeah,
retired.
Well, tell me what you know about it.
He's retiring. That's all I know about it.
Well,
yeah, I haven't followed him too much. He's just, he's definitely somebody we've watched over the years, and now he's hanging it up. He's not done, but he's done at the Sun Times.
Yeah, and so, but do you know why?
Oh no.
Okay, so that's the thing. It's like when you said retired, I was kind of like, is that what he said? I don't really know much either. So it's kind of, I know one detail that I think is true, and I think he's commented on, but yeah. So I think that they offered payouts at the Sun Times.
Oh, okay.
For people that have been there for a long time.
Tiny bit of this,
yeah. And I think probably because he's been there for a long time, probably has a pretty good salary, and so they probably offered him a buyout, and he accepted it.
Yeah,
but like. So everybody listening to this, if you don't know who Richard Roper is a film critic that replaced Gene Siskel when Gene Siskel passed away as the film critic there. And he has been ever since the time, but for a short time, he was on as at the movies with Roger Ebert, our hero. And it's like it's weird to see how things are happening. Like, does a paper need a movie critic anymore, or will they still cover the movies over there in Chicago? Like, that sounds really crazy to think that there wouldn't be some prominent movie critic from Chicago. Maybe that's just online now or something. And then I saw a post that he did where he's wearing a Los Angeles Dodgers hat, and I was like, is this fucking guy coming to LA?
I have no idea. I mean, unless he hates Chicago now. I'm not saying he hates Chicago. He's always been a Chicago guy. That would be surprising, but
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be tough if he comes here, like because he is so Chicago. But then again, he's known all over the place for his reviews, not just Chicago, right? So what am I?
Is he? I don't even know. So
yeah,
he's pretty nationally known. So.
I would think that there's probably like a handful of critics these days that like people know about, and Richard Roper would be one of them. Okay, moving on to, I had heard that Jim Jarmusch, the great Jim Jarmusch, that Patrick and I both love. We've covered his movies on this. He's actually liked one of our Instagrams one time when we posted about coffee and cigarettes. It was like the greatest day in internet history for me. And he was having an art show, and it was just right around the corner, 5 minutes away from me. And my girlfriend was like, well, I'm fucking broke right now. She's like, I'll buy you his book so you can meet him. And I was like, I'll love you. Who a girlfriend does that, because I didn't want to go because of that, which is stupid. It's like the book was $45, but like I'm just pinching my pennies, and I could have missed out on this great meeting that I had because I'm being like that. So anyway, went there, waited in the smallest ass line. So easy. There he is, Jim Jarmusch, signing fucking autographs.
Damn.
Like a badass and dressed in all black. And I'm like, I'm wearing my Ramones jacket, and she's like, Marianne's like, what are you going to say to him when you see him? I was like, I don't think I'm going to say anything. Like, I don't want to say anything to this guy, Like, what am I going to say? I fucking love Dead Man, We covered coffee and cigarettes. I fucking love, Oh, you're moved down by law. What's that going to do? You know? So anyway, I see somebody like, before me go, and then I just kind of relaxed and went up to him, and he's like very calm, very quiet, very cool. And I had him sign one of the collages in the book that he did with Andy Warhol's face, which I thought was so great because and he goes under his breath, he goes, oh, he's like, the Warhol. Okay. And then he signs Jim Jarmusch. And then my girlfriend says, Jim, would it be okay if I took a picture of you two? And he goes, I don't really like pictures, but yeah, let's do it. And so, dude, he got up. For all of you watching, or if you're not watching, you can't see this, but puts both hands on my fucking shoulder like this. And we take a picture. And he turns to me, he shakes my hand. He goes, did you get it? Did you get your picture? And he goes, Marianne goes, yeah, we got it. I go, Jim, thank you so much. I walked away. And I was like, you don't want to meet your heroes because you never know. And I've met so many people that I don't love, but I was just like, this guy's so great. And I was on cloud 9 all day. And inspired. Like he was telling people, he's like, you just gotta be yourself, man. Just gotta be yourself. Like, it's like, yeah, just as an artist, just be yourself. It's like all you gotta do. And don't give up. Be yourself. Don't give up. And sometimes motherfuckers need to hear that, especially when they're pinching their pennies and can't afford to buy Jim Jarmusch's book to wait in line to get his autograph. It's like, it was an inspiring day. I love that kind of stuff. That's the closest I'm going to be to Andy Warhol. It's the closest I'll be to the Ramones. It's the closest I'm ever going to be. Like, he is that New York scene that's still alive and one of the greatest artists of all time in his own right. So it was a big day for me, really cool. And then we went and we had ice cream after that.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, yes, knowing you and your adoration for his films, like I know, and especially after hearing that story now, I know that was a big deal. So that's fucking fantastic that you got to experience that.
And dude, yeah. Pat, the first thing I did, I said, I gotta send Pat this picture. First thing I did when we got out there is I texted you the picture, and you're like, what? It
was Saturday night. I'm like in my underwear cooking spaghetti or something. And it's like, oh, this guy's meeting our heroes, and I'm just chilling here. So love it.
Dude, it was really special. But then, so what else did I do that I was like doped up about?
It looks like you saw Lynch's house. You were stalking him, maybe.
That same day on our way back, I was like telling her about how something about David Lynch, or maybe it was like kind of the same thing. I was mentioning to her that Jim Jarmusch, just like David Lynch, just two people that are complete fucking aliens, just like totally their own style, totally, inspired by people, sure, whatever, but they're just like renegades that made it happen. And then we started to talk about David Lynch and where he lived, because I knew he lived close to me. And Marianne's like, I know exactly where it is. Let's go. So we went. And I was taking the pic, and I sent you like 80 pictures of like the place. So, what's interesting is like when you get into those Hollywood Hills homes, it's hard to explain because sometimes you see them in movies and stuff like that, but the lens really adapts it to make it look like the spaces look a lot larger, but there's no space in those. You can't even go around cars. It's so tight. And the houses are just and then you're going up a hill and they're really tight. So his is like kind of around a bend. And we found out later on that he owned 3 houses. So his home and studio, and then there's 2 other houses, one of which has that railing, if you saw in the pictures, is the one house that is featured prominently in Lost Highway. So
hell yeah.
It's weird to go by it, dude, because it's like, obviously you've seen The Art Life, I'm sure, and all those kind of things, and thinking of that guy living there and creating art there for all the time, and now he's gone. He's just not there anymore. It's kind of that was a lot to take in that day. Jim Jarmusch and seeing David Lynch's stuff and everything, and these 2 great artists. So yeah, that was cool, man. I wish you were here sometime, so I just like swing by and pick you up, and we can go on these like road trips to see these kick-ass places that people that we care about like lived at.
All we got here are iconic bars in Chicago that show up in Michael Mann movies. So
yeah, that's true, but we have those iconic bars here as well.
Well, I'm not trying to one up you. I'm just trying to stay competitive here in Chicago. So.
Yeah. I mean, you you mentioned Delilah's in a text. Have you been to Delilah's recently?
A couple weeks ago. Was there?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been there. Is it still punk rock bar or?
No, it's the best jukebox music in the city. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
what I thought.
constantly the best variety of rock and roll. So it's like if you ever want just good music and a chill vibe, that's by far. I love it.
Yeah, I do miss those bars. Just so you know, I'm trying to be a little like cool out in LA guy here, but there's nothing like a Chicago bar. There's just nothing like it.
So connecting from last week, I did start reading Heat 2 that I showed you, the novel, which apparently just coincidentally that he just optioned, like the screenplay's done. So now that is moving forward. So that's going to happen. And we mentioned how it's a prequel and a sequel to Heat. And so the prequel is set in Chicago. I didn't even realize. Really? So it's De Niro's character in Chicago. And even in the first 30 pages, already the way he's writing, Michael Mann's a Chicago guy, the way he's writing about 80s Chicago. And they do stop at a bar off of the Six Corners that eerily sounds like Richard's Bar. That awesome. You and I have been.
When did he write Heat 2? Do you know?
Heat 2 was we were just looking at it. It's only like 3 or 4 years old now. So
what is he saying? It's like filled with billows with smoke or something.
I mean, it barely is describing it, but like the intersection of where they were going, there's a lot of moving around. It's like Grand Theft Auto. It's like they're moving from intersection to intersection, meeting up at a bar, going to somewhere else. But the street corners, it was basically, this could be Richard's Bar that they're saying they're meeting in and going on from that. So I'm not guaranteeing it. Like it might not be, but like they definitely, if there was going to be a bar that Michael Mann is writing about from his days in the 80s, Richard's Bar would be up there. So for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Our hang at Richard's Bar was up there as like one of my very favorite times in a bar ever. So
still pushing the cigarettes. Yeah, they're still doing it. So
awesome.
All right, yeah, you've been crushing the celeb meet. So
yeah, I was gonna say. So anything else going on that you're doing? There's been a ton that's been going on since the last time we talked. Yeah, we talked about Val Kilmer. I didn't tell you about my double feature. So I bought tickets to the anniversary same day that it came out, and they've been playing it all week now. Grindhouse, so Terror, and Death Proof, and I'm going to see that tomorrow at 1:30. I'm treating myself. I'm working my fucking ass off, and I just want to sit down and just shut the fuck up and just like watch that, then have a great time.
Still one of my most iconic theater going experiences ever. I saw that like opening night at Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh yeah, I love that place. Is it still there?
South of us. Yeah, I haven't been there in years, but this was 2008 when it came out. So it was still before like movies had like.
Well, I think it came out in 2007 because I just saw I mean, you might have been a year off.
No, it might be. Yeah, it might be 2007. But it was before like dining theaters were kind of a thing. So Hollywood Boulevard, near us in the suburbs here in Chicago when we were growing up, it was kind of a big deal. But I mean, they do a good job. They celebrate movies there. So
they have like actors and stuff like that come in, which is that's the first time I knew that was ever happening. And I met Christopher Lloyd and had him sign one of our Suncoast like fallouts that they did like a whole Back to the Future thing. Gosh, dude, I don't know what year that was. Probably like 2007 too. It was a while.
Yeah, we've mentioned that. I remember. Yeah, because I saw Michael Madsen there for a screening for Reservoir Dogs.
Awesome.
But yeah, seeing Grindhouse on opening night. I mean, because again, me being like, hey, because it was the first time that Kurt Russell was featured in a Tarantino movie. So it was like I was like 100% in for that, and very excited for that being the direction that Tarantino was going to go. And I still remember just how excited I was for it. And yeah, double feature all the way in, both movies. Such a great fucking experience. So yeah,
you're okay in my book. And Pam, you had a 50-50 chance of saying which way you wanted to go. And since you said that you want to go that way, you're going to have to start getting scared immediately. Fucking awesome.
So good. Yeah, it gets thrown under the bus a little bit. I think it's top tier Tarantino, but a lot of people keep that at the bottom. But, you know,
it's weird because, you know, like the stylistically too, like when it opens and it's kind of got that like 35 millimeter kind of feel and stuff. And it's like the jumpy film in the beginning. It's like for kids or people that are younger that were watching that for the first time. I mean, I was 27 when that came out. So I was like, wasn't really big into like that era of filmmaking, you know, like the 70s and all that kind of stuff. And he was like making it cool. And that's like something because he's so ingrained in that era, you know, of films. Yeah. And I was seeing that stylistically for the first time from like a current filmmaker, which I loved.
Gonna have a kick-ass time.
Yeah.
Looking forward for you. What else? There is 261 days until Avatar Fire and Ash comes out. So just give you a heads up there. Don't have it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Just giving you a heads up. Yep. I did go to Days of the Dead actually on Friday. It's the horror movie convention that happens here in Chicago and Atlanta. So that was pretty fun.
Cool. What do they play? Just
perused. No, it's a convention. So they had a bunch of actors. So I said hi to Ty West. Said I liked his movie, so he was there signing stuff.
Cool. How was that? Like, was he like friendly and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it was super quick, but I didn't spend a whole lot of time. It was just more of like I like hanging out and see a lot of the vendors there. I saw Bill Johnson, Leatherface 2 from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. He played Leatherface in that one, and then also Bill Duke from the original Predator. That was fantastic. So it was a pretty good time.
Man, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, they've always, Flashback and Days of the Dead, those are the two that happen every year here in Chicago. And yeah, they always do a pretty good job. It's definitely run by people who love horror movies. So they do a good job. So
it just reminds me of a story I have about Val Kilmer. If you have a quick second for it, it's not long. One of those things, it was like Hollywood memorabilia shows. We used to go to them all the time. Me and Tom Higginson, you know, my band and the Tees. Oh, yeah. We were kids and we loved movies and we would go to those things. Probably predates working at Suncoast or maybe around the same time. And I was at one. Fucking Val Kilmer was there. And he's signing stuff. He was the most expensive signee. I also met and talked to Corey Haim and Corey Feldman at one of them. And they were awesome. I loved going to them. I met Zuzu from like It's a Wonderful Life. I met Tracy Lords, you know, like, and I loved Crybaby and stuff like that. So it was like these things were awesome. But I remember Val Kilmer's line being really long, super long. And he was the most expensive signee. So it was like the big star that they got. And he was, I think at the time, filming that movie they did with Oliver Stone. The period piece. Was it like the Troy thing or what did he do? It wasn't Troy.
No.
Maybe it was Troy. Because doesn't he play some kind of like guy without an eye in that or something?
I've never seen Troy. Is that Oliver Stone? No, that's not Oliver Stone. It's Wolfgang Peterson.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it was one of those like kind of epics. I think he was about to star in that or he did or something like that. So he wasn't like a defunct star at that time. He was like a star and it was awesome.
Oliver Stone did The Doors.
Maybe. I don't know. I might be messed up on it, but anyway.
Yeah, but you got me curious now. Let's look at Val Kilmer's IMDb.
Yeah, no, fuck you. I think he was in one of those period pieces. I'm telling you.
I'm not saying no. Don't bust my balls, dude.
Yeah, well, okay. I'm just saying, Val Kilmer's got to be like a smaller role, maybe in like Troy or something like that.
Are you thinking? So, what year was this? Around 2000?
Dude. Also, by the way, Willow. Come on.
I've never seen Willow.
Oh yeah. Okay. Hold on. I'm looking.
Spartan.
Maybe it was Spartan. I don't know.
Salt and Sea.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about True Romance. He's in, of course. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's Wonderland. God, I'd like to see that again. 2003 was in that.
Alexander.
Alexander, that's it. That's it.
That's
yep.
Yeah.
Was that who directed that?
That's Oliver Stone. You're right.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, but yeah, I think it was that movie. He was like,
I totally remember trying to watch a movie and just not giving a shit.
Colin Farrell in that though, right?
Yes. And it was like at the time. So it was, I have no memory of other than just not finishing the movie. So that's no comment on the movie. It could be amazing. I just remember that was a time in my life where I was like, I think I was pretty much on board with like, if I'm not loving this, I'm just not going to watch this. So
taking the tip from old Roger Ebert. And if in the first 20 minutes, you don't like it.
Well, I think it was just me being a lazy asshole as a young man. So
that's true too.
Just looking at his IMDb, one movie that I want to touch on that I loved that I saw in theaters and it's always thought it was a little underrated was The Ghost in the Darkness.
Never seen it.
I saw that in the theater. I was just a little kid at the time, and it's him and Michael Douglas hunting. He's a railroad layer, and it's based on a true story about these two men eating lions that start attacking the workers, and they kill dozens of people. It's basically the lions are at the Field Museum.
Yes. Okay. I know that movie. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like it's some masterpiece, but it is a pretty fucking great 90s kind of pulpy, stoic thriller that it's like, it's not really too flashy or anything, but it is really about working and the two of them working together in a pragmatic way. And it's just, it comes across as a movie that just doesn't get made that much anymore in its simplicity. It's just always been really good. And I always liked it. So,
well, let's talk for a second. And I'm just looking at this, you got Top Gun 86. He's in, great Iceman. Right. And then you fast forward to like him kind of killing it he does Willow in there. Okay. But then you fast forward to 91 and he's in The Doors. And that's like, I think where everybody was like, okay, Val Kilmer, but then there's Tombstone really after that. And then you got Batman Forever 95. So he's killing it in the 90s. 95 is Heat, Batman Forever. Dr. Moreau is 96, Ghost in the Darkness, as you mentioned. And then kind of nothing, dude. Like then kind of just like done. Which is weird.
And again, I think that it probably was like a playing ball type thing. Probably was just not maybe having the opportunities that he felt were appropriate. And I'm guessing, who knows? But he just seemed like a true artist that wasn't going to like do bullshit just for the sake of it, or play the game just for the sake of it. So I don't know.
All right, Val Kilmer, integrity, rest in peace. We love you in so many movies, and man, we've had to announce a few deaths on this. Like Sizemore passed away while we're doing this. Like after we watched Bringing Out the Dead. It's crazy. Time just keeps moving on.
Well, don't suggest like hexing anybody about watching this.
Oh yeah, Hackman too. What the hell? Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, we didn't watch a Hackman movie, so we're definitely not doing that. Yes. What's the Real Genius? That's the other one.
Oh yeah, Real Genius. Yeah,
fantastic. And then the last one I'm going to mention, and I've brought this up movie multiple times. This is my favorite comedy of the 21st century. MacGruber. Val Kilmer plays the big bad in that, and he's fucking fantastic. Like that movie. I didn't
know he was in that.
He's the main bad guy in it, and he's so fucking great in it. That's a later one. That's 2010. And the genius of MacGruber is that it takes the joke and plays with it. It plays it out for the entire movie. There's no winking at the audience. And so Val Kilmer's legit playing, like he's straight up playing like a bad guy you would see like in a actual, 80s action movie that it's spoofing. So that's kind of the genius of MacGruber is like, it's almost the flip side. I've thought about this, the flip side of Naked Gun, where Leslie Nielsen's playing it straight and everything around him is fucking ridiculous. And so that's what makes it funny, him playing it straight. Yeah. MacGruber is the exact opposite. Everything around MacGruber is straight, including Val Kilmer and everything else. And then MacGruber is the one who's making it funny by being the ridiculous one. So it's like, that's why that movie is an absolute masterpiece. And Val Kilmer, playing Dieter von Kuntz is one of the best fucking big bads in any movie ever. Love it. So
great name.
MacGruber's definitely been on the list. Maybe we'll just watch that coming up soon in honor of.
I'm down. I mean, I always love when you're like so into like these films. Like you're so fucking into RoboCop. You're so into this. Like, yeah, dude, I'm down. Like that's awesome.
Love it. One last thing. I got physical media. I picked it up at Days of the Dead. This was a discovery for me. I picked up the special edition of Rumpelstiltskin.
Awesome. And so, obviously that movie is so great, you know, so stupid and fun.
First time seeing it.
Oh my God.
So, and I didn't even, so the reason why I was so excited and eager to pick it up is that it's Mark Jones, who this was his follow-up after directing the original Leprechaun, which the original Leprechaun was an absolute staple in my home. My brother and sister and I, very rarely did we agree on movies to watch, but there were some, and Leprechaun was always one of them. And so once I realized that Mark Jones is the one who actually directed this, I didn't know. I never caught up with this one over the years. The actual VHS cover kind of looked familiar. I would see it sometimes at the video store.
Dude, I finally caught up with that movie. I haven't seen it in so long. I don't know if it was on like TV or what, but I would always see it. It's so good. I was blown away. I was like this because it captures the vibe. If you've seen like the original Leprechaun, most people have, it captures that vibe of a horror comedy without being ironic. That is just so unique to the 90s before it was like winking at the audience. It was just a straight up horror movie that was goofy. There was no like irony behind it. Like, and that's kind of the, dude, that is a score, by the way. I'm just telling you, that's a score of a DVD. That's probably the best physical media I've seen you hold up. I haven't thought about that film in a while, which is amazing.
Good book of essays. He's got like a long essay talking about the making of the film. So, and I have not listened. I've watched it, but I have not listened to his director commentary. So I'm going to check that out soon. So
super cool. So it came in that package all just like that. It's not like you bought the slip disc or whatever.
No,
like,
that's how they manufacture it. Terror Vision, which I think they're based out of Chicago. At least they have a store here in Chicago. They've been doing a great fucking job, and this is one of the titles that have been hitting off for them. So,
dude, you know what's funny is like I'm just kind of thinking about it now. Like looking at your collection back there is growing. I know you've been buying, like, you know, when you come across stuff and you do this little segment every time we do the show, but like I'm just thinking about it now. I'm like, yeah, since we've done this, like you've really grown the collection. I've
replaced a lot of the ones that I got rid of over the years. I am pretty close to having every single movie that I like truly love, because collecting physical media is like, I mean, it's certainly an addiction that you can go down, and I definitely went down it while working at Suncoast, where you just where you want to buy everything. And people talk about this all the time now with like the physical media collectors. It's like it's easy to getting FOMO, thinking you need movies that you need to own or anything. And fortunately, I'm just not that person anymore. Like you know, when I was 21, I probably did that for a little bit, and that's why I kind of stepped away from it. But when it comes to like what I want to own now, it's like I have no desire to own anything aside from like fun stuff like this that I'll just pick up. The only movies that I need to own are like, you know, the movies that would make like a top 100, 200 list of like my favorite movies of all time. Anything else, you know, if it comes across it, totally cool. If not, I definitely don't blind buy anymore. That's a thing that a lot of people do, or like, something.
I'll watch it sometime. It's like, this looks good or whatever. Yeah.
Right. And again, I just contradicted myself. This was a blind buy. So,
but it's the best blind buy.
Right. Exactly. Possibly. That's a unique situation, but yeah. So I do have a collection now that I feel confident with. Like, we can just like stop right now, and I would be fully satisfied with like my watch list for the rest of my life, because it has the overwhelming majority of all the movies that like I really fucking love. Plenty of movies that I like and that I just don't own, but I'll probably be okay without them. But like, so that's kind of where I'm at with that. And I think that's
jealous of that growing awesome space behind you. This looks fucking awesome.
Got my little movie corner here. So,
well, listen, dude,
Good artwork.
I was going to say it's not too shabby in there with that artwork to my right there. So I'm glad you pointed it out, and I didn't have to talk about my own art. But yeah, that's a nice addition as well.
You love talking about your own art. Don't bullshit me.
That's why I have it in the background every time we do the Remainders tapings. Yeah. Okay. Well, you want to get into the holy shit, man. I'm just looking at it. It's like we're at an hour 35 already. Well, time flies when you're talking about kick-ass movies,
Rumpelstiltskin, The Descent, Spelunking, Splatterfest. We got everything that we love here.
Spelunking, Splatterfest. I love that. You got to put that in the show notes. I didn't pick up. I'm not really listening to anything right now. I've been so busy. It's kind of a bummer, but I can pick one if you want to go first on the song of the.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been on a huge Little Richard kick lately.
Oh, okay.
One of my all-time favorites. I love Little Richard. I really do think, like, out of all the OG rock and roll, like 50s early rock and roll stars, Little Richard is always kind of at my favorite. So I mean, that voice, so fucking crazy iconic, man. It's just like
it totally doesn't. It's totally weird that comes out of a human being. There's no doubt.
Yes, I know. It's like this. It just baffles my mind. It's just like how fucking rock and roll that voice is, and just how insane it must have been hearing that at the time. Just to hear rock and roll at the time was obviously mind blowing. Never hearing anything like that before, but then to have that voice. So yeah, he's always kind of been one of my favorites of the OG groups of the rock and roll. I mean, I know Elvis is your preference.
Well, it's a perfect package, but I'm not on your side about Little Richard.
Yeah, no, I'm not pitting anybody. I'm just saying, like, it's I started reading his biography. That's also part of it. I'm only a chapter or two in, but
there was a documentary on HBO like a year ago or something like that. It wasn't amazing. It kind of just felt anticlimactic because he's so larger than life. But yes, I would love to read a biography.
Yeah.
Is it like from a official biographer or like a family?
Yeah, it's an official one. It's from the early 90s. So kind of like that sweet spot of his life where it's like, still, it's good 30 years old now, but not terribly far removed from when he was still making music through the 70s and everything. So, but yeah, so the song I'm going with is By the Light of the Silvery Moon, which has always been, it's on some of the hits, not all of them. So it is kind of,
I don't know it.
Yeah, it's not necessarily like a deep cut, I guess, but it's certainly not on like his most prominent collections. And it's just got, again, his vocal performance is not quite as like insane as some of his other songs. It's a little bit more crooning, but it is like just the perfect blend of crooning and just like wildness into it. And it's just got the good horns going and some of the style. And seeing him live or something like that would have been fucking insane. But this is one of those songs where it would have been pretty impressive to see a actual human being create that sound and be that charismatic with it. So By the Light of the Silvery Moon by Little Richard. That's what I'm going with. So tonight.
Cool. Can't wait to listen to that one. I'm sure I'll probably like listen to it and be like, oh, I've heard it before. But the title just doesn't really ring a bell. I have like a best of years that I saw on Spotify. I put together like every year, like songs that I like, and I'll pull them into like the playlist. Right. So it's like, oh, cool. I'm loving this song this year or whatever. And then I have this thing called Best of Years Plane. And so whenever I go on a plane, I do the download of just this playlist, which is like all my favorites from all the years pooled. And I'm going through the best years playing right now. And it's hard because I'm like, now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, I would say all of these songs, but I just landed on this. And because we heard it the other day over the radio somewhere, maybe it was like on a walk. And sometimes like these places out here in town, restaurants and stuff like that, they just have like music playing. And I overheard it. I was like, oh man, I fucking love this song. So a Chicago artist, I believe Liz Phair is from Chicago. And she had that great record Exile in Guyville. And I love this song called Fucking Run. Do you know it?
I mean, not the song immediately. I mean, I've heard that album in the past.
I woke up alone, and almost immediately I felt sorry because I never thought it would happen again. Anyway, I can sing the whole song. I don't even need to, but yeah, I love it. I love like that there's just like this like kind of single guitar going, and like the drums are very like stripped down, and she's just kind of like really like it's almost like poetry. She's kind of talking about like this guy like who came over and kind of like it's like a one night stand type of deal called Fucking Run. And it's badass. Like on the cover of this record, it's like her and like just kind of like in your face, and it's like just really a great 90s song. So that I'm choosing Fucking Run by Liz Phair. Badass.
Is this off Exit in Guyville?
Yeah.
No, this looks like
Exit in Guyville, yeah.
Fucking Run.
She actually released a new record. I believe she released a new record last year, I think. Or she was doing new songs, at least. My first introduction to Liz Phair was through Pansy Division, by the way, because that song, Flower, I think is hers, they covered, and it was like, whoa, what the fuck is this? It's like, Pansy Division is like all they used to be all the members were all gay, and they sing about being gay, and that was like my introduction to being gay, basically, back on the Lookout Records days. And they would play at the fireside and stuff, and they covered this song called Flower by Liz Phair, and it's so fucking awesome. I've looked for it recently and I have not been able to find it. I think it was on like a 7-inch or something like that, and somebody made a tape of it somewhere or whatever.
B-side days.
Yeah, but anyway, it's kind of amazing to think of like a gay band covering a total female badass song. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, all right. Fucking Run by Liz Phair.
Fucking Run. We've said. I feel like I'm gonna have to put the expletive button on this episode. I've been saying fuck a lot. Me, I'm like, yeah, I love those fucking vampire bats that come down. That's what happens when you drink 2 glasses of whiskey in a night, Pat.
So you have adoration for the vampire bats. I can see you wearing a T-shirt of an obscure band called the Vampire Bats.
I know, that sounds great. That sounds
it doesn't even have to be a real band. You could just pass it off as being like the more obscure band T-shirt in the group. So,
I mean, maybe I'll make it. Put it up in the shop. The Vampire Bats. I'll draw these goddamn things from this movie.
I was gonna say, like, I could see you doing a painting of one of the crawlers, and it would come out. I could see you doing a painting of the crawler, but you give it like an old style, like baseball cap or something like that. So
that's great. There you go. That's the T-shirt.
Right. The
awesome.
Little the Vorel touch. So
I really love the fact that we've been covering. I don't know, some horror movies. I don't have enough like. There's so many of them. And I think like the good thing about a podcast like us is that we can talk about like ones that we really like this movie, or that you think I'm really going to like. Cause like, even with Shudder, it's like, you kind of like, which one do I choose? It's like, I know that these things are curated by people who really love horror movies. So I probably can't go wrong. Yeah. But just still overwhelming because there's just so much, There's
still some stuff in there that's like they just have the rights to it, so and it's just there.
Yeah.
And they have been expanding with like original content, which I'm all for them doing their own thing as an economic engine, but at the same time, it's like it's going to be a lot of stuff that is direct to streaming for a reason. So
yeah, I mean, obviously Netflix does that, Max does that. Everybody's got their own shit
that direction. So
yeah.
But no, yeah. I mean, the fact that we can cover Heat and The Descent right next to each other just because they're great fucking movies, that's kind of the essence of why these chats are so fucking awesome. Why we like doing this. So
no, I mean, totally. Yeah. And then, the weird thing is that we just covered Heat and then Val Kilmer dies. It's not our fault.
Yeah. Stop giving the people a chance to make that connection, Stu.
It's not our fault that this is happening to us, but I like that we're celebrating. And yeah, I think a lot of people should go out there and watch their favorite Val Kilmer movies and celebrate the man,
Dieter von Kampf, the man. So.
All right. Well, I guess my pick is next time. So we'll see what I pick. Maybe it'll be something with a vampire bat. We'll see. I don't know.
Always looking forward to those vampire bats. So.
Actual vampire bat.
I mean, you have not had us watch a Dracula movie, or well,
have I? You have not?
I don't think so. So I think that's inevitably going to happen at some point. So.
Yeah, I just feel like that's too low hanging fruit for me.
We're just keeping it on reserves for the milestone episode. So
yeah, totally
love it.
Cool, man. All right, well, hey, signing off, but I'll see you in 2 weeks, I guess.
All right, brother. Always a pleasure.
You too. Enjoy that springtime air there in Chicago, huh?
Trying my hardest. See ya.
All right. See ya, man. Bye.